speed up. We cannot be any more slow on how we are using, the new advanced technologies like AI or some others.
Welcome to Connecting for Future, your podcast for beyond connectivity. And now, your host, Christian Kosling.
Welcome to Connecting for Future, the podcast where we explore the game-changing ideas shaping the future of business, technology, and leadership. I'm your host, Christian, and today we are at the biggest events for online marketing and digital business, the OMR Festival in Hamburg. I'm beyond excited to sit down with someone who truly embodies transformation at scale. She's not only a global leader in the tech and telecom space, she's redefining what modern leadership looks like. Grounded, forward-thinking, and deeply human. She's led large organizations through complex change, championed innovation across industries, and today she's steering one of the biggest B2B spaces in telco worldwide as CEO of Vodafone Business. Welcome, Marika.
Thank you for having me, Christian. I'm delighted to be here with you.
How are you feeling in the middle of the OMR action today?
Yeah, I feel good. I'm inspired by the event, but I'm even more inspired not by the event, but by our people and by our customers. Very, very good discussions, also with your customers.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's start with you. How would you describe your leadership style and your mindset, Marika?
Yeah, maybe I can start with the leadership, and maybe you should actually ask somebody else. Usually a person is not the best person to assess his or her leadership style. But I hope that people are describing me as to be very people-oriented, because I finally believe that two companies or multiple companies are not doing business together. It's people. And you need to build trust. And when you need to build trust, you shouldn't really focus on creating these nice PowerPoints with the bold statements, but you need to walk the talk. And I keep on also telling that when you are actually building trust with your people, you need to take baby steps. You need to show that your promises and your words can be relied on. So this is something that I believe in. And then also my leadership style, I also believe in a kind of situational leadership. I don't know whether you have heard that definition before, but situational leadership is something where you also as a leader, you need to adapt the situation or to people or the circumstances that you may have in the market. And then you just actually slightly tailor your leadership style and especially communication depending on the situation.
Yeah, that's pretty unique, right? Because the time is changing and everything is fast forward, right? And you always have to adopt your leadership style.
Agree.
What keeps you focused and connected across such complexity?
Yeah. Finally, it's getting back to prioritization. I suppose we all, including you, Christian, you can be so busy in a week, in a day. But how do you prioritize and understand that what is important today or in this week? So this is actually something that I feel that I'm slightly better at the moment comparing the situation that I was in maybe in 20 years ago. And how I keep this focus, first of all, I actually have a practice. I actually write down on Monday, what are the key things that I need to accomplish in a week. And then I check this backlog. To be honest, sometimes, the list is different on Monday. It might be on Thursday. So, of course, you need to actually keep on changing your backlog. And then finally, also how to keep this focus. It's by also getting coaching and mentoring from other people. And how I'm using my network, for instance, inside of Vodafone, I call some people when I need also to get some advices or actually check that, is this something that we need to focus on this week? Is this critical? So I keep on actually using my connections in order to ensure that we all are working on the right things.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, right? Because going forward, this is something we always have to do. And what I was thinking on, if you write things down, do you still use like a normal book or do you use like an app?
I don't actually use it, but there is one guiding principle that I also try to keep in my mind. And sometimes it's difficult because we all are having a lot of things on the table at the very same time. But I always ask one question. Is this that we are working on, or if that is a new initiative, is this really moving the needle when it comes to our customers? Are we then a company that can further improve our customer centricity? Is this something where we can actually help our field organization to be more customer centric? Can we increase our productivity and finally also once again be more innovative towards our customers? So when you put your customer at the center, also when you actually think what are some of the key priorities that you have as a company, as a team, or as a person, that is always actually a good starting point. Then maybe you can actually avoid of spending time around the topics that are not so relevant for our customers or for other stakeholders. It might be also a partner. But finally, you may have heard me saying it's a customer who is paying our salary. It's not really a Vodafone.
Agree.
And when we really actually make the decision based on the benefits and solutions and services that we are giving to our customers and how to really speed up or build better solutions and services to our customers and use our resources wisely, then I'm pretty sure that at least is helping us to be a better company to work.
Was there a turning point where you said, this is the kind of leader I want to be?
I don't know, but I need to say that I have been very, very lucky because I have been working with so many great people, great leaders, and I have been able to get a lot of good advices and help from many of these senior people. But it's not only about the advices and coaching and mentoring that you're getting from your leaders. I have quite many mentees, so I'm also a mentor, and I feel that it's my responsibility to give back. But every single discussion is also an opportunity for me to actually start reflecting, maybe to get some new ideas. Many young people, they have certain skills and competencies that we don't have.
Yep.
And very often I see that, hey, if I don't really change my attitude or my communication, I might be at risk of becoming a dinosaur.
Especially in the OMR, you can see it, right? What people are doing, like especially with like influencing and the style, with how the kids are growing up, the speed, how fast they can tackle the phones nowadays. It's really.
I remember that maybe I provide you with one example. Maybe it was 50 years ago. At the time, I was working for SAP and I was running an industry team. And then I got a rather young person actually from Barcelona, Pau, I still remember. And then Pau was about to join my team and I was telling that, hey, Pau, why shouldn't we actually write a short email, giving a little bit more background information about you and whatever. And he was telling that, Marika, that is so old-fashioned. Give me a day and I will get back to you. And after one day, he actually sent me this great video where he actually was whiteboarding his journey so far. He had been living in different countries. Then he shot the video where he actually used his scooter to get the office. That video was so inspiring. It was a good reminder that he has learned also from the younger people. And ever since I have been also trying to remember that, you also on how you communicate, there are many ways to inspire people.
Awesome. And again, on the OMR, as we are here in the heart of the OMR, it's creative, a little wild, and incredible energizing. What does being here spark in you?
I think that there's a great vibe. And as you rightfully mentioned, this is also the event, the kind of festival where you actually see a lot of young people. So it's always inspiring to be part of, young people and creative people. But also here, and I suppose at any event that is taking place at the moment, I would say that it's AI anywhere. And, so it's really, you can see so many AI-driven use cases. Also, when you are actually visiting Vodafone Great booth, it's great that we are working with the partners to showcase on how we can help companies to move the needle by using different use cases and very much AI-driven use cases.
Agree. And let's talk B2B. It's transforming, as always. What are the biggest shifts you see in the next 3 to 5 years?
First of all, as we discussed, Christian, it's also, all these technological capabilities that many companies are introducing now at speed and at scale. It's amazing. I managed to actually spend some time at the Google event 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas. And I was inspired, but I was also even surprised on how many new capabilities, in this case, Google and their partners, we are actually bringing the market. And every single company must actually keep the eyes open and be curious and also start small. And then when you see that, the capability or use case can be scalable, then actually speed up. We cannot be any more slow. on how we are using, the new advanced technologies like AI or some others. Anyhow, there are also certain things that won't change, regardless of all these, changes that we see in the world. One is to be very customer-centric, as we discussed earlier. Right. And finally, it's getting back to trust, especially when we are working also with the large companies and smaller companies, on how you make sure that you help them to be more successful. And you need to build trust, and then you need to deliver on promise, regardless of all the solutions. So those are the things that won't change. And I think that we need to be less transactional and more strategic also on how we are working with our customers and also with our partners.
Right, agree. Right, so, and it's about also teaching the organization to speed things up, right? So if you take some companies, for instance, if they were not doing something different, as of saying, I was always doing the same over and over, it was not good for them, right? So
I really believe, and especially when it comes to larger organization, I believe in value-based selling. And it means that you need to take a consultative approach. You shouldn't be focused on the features and capabilities that we may have in our connectivity solutions or in our digital solutions only, but help customers to see on how they can actually start using the technology to be more efficient, improve their productivity, be all customer-oriented. So consultative approach is also to understand that where the customer or company is now right now and how they can improve and enhance their processes and practices.
And now to get to know Marika a little bit better, we have some quick fire questions.
All right.
No overthinking, just straightforward. Yeah. What comes to your mind? You ready?
I am ready. And once again, maybe the audience should know that we haven't really practiced any of these questions in advance. So yes, I will be very honest.
Perfect. First thing you do when you wake up?
I open my eyes very slowly.
Last app you open on your phone?
Last app that I opened, maybe it was actually Gemini.
Gemini?
Yes, this morning when I needed to ask a question. I actually use all the, different applications, whether that is ChatGPT, Gemini. I even installed DeepSeek just to check that whether I get sometimes different answers.
Right. And
a Copilot, of course, and now, especially in the business environment.
Right. Best advice you've ever received?
Focus on listening and understanding. Really focus on listening. When I was younger, maybe I was impatient, and you should really focus on one moment and then listen and understand. Make sure that you understand. If you don't understand, ask a question in order to really understand.
Favorite city to live in?
I don't know. I have lived now in London. I'm close to Philadelphia, of course, in Helsinki. I lived 6 months in Copenhagen, some time in Brussels. But I don't know yet, because maybe there are cities that I haven't tried yet. And to be honest, I have enjoyed and maybe also been fortunate in with these opportunities to really live in different cities, but also work in different environments, because then you can actually grow personally.
See the cultures, right? So Favorite sport to watch or play?
Actually, many. I actually love sport. I used to have different hobbies when I was younger. I did paragliding, but when I got my first son, I decided to change. Maybe it was a little bit too dangerous. I love running. For me, running is a kind of meditation. I'm not even listening to music. I'm just running. So this is one. But then I used to also play football as a young girl. I love watching football, and I'm actually watching different kind of sport. I watch football, American football, golf, tennis. I'm also very competitive. So when finally I'm also playing sometimes, not too often, golf, I know I always assume that I'm a little bit better than I am.
A quote you come back to often?
Yes, one, when we lived in the US, I started to love basketball, and we went to many of the games, and it was a famous player, Michael Jordan, who once said that talent wins games, but it's teamwork and intelligence that wins championships. And I think that there is a lot of very, very good message. So yes, you need to have talented people, but then when they work as a team and use all the intelligence and assets that they may have in the company or in the team, they are stronger and they start winning championships.
Marika, you've inspired a lot of people, myself included, and you've talked about next generative leadership. What do you think future leaders need to embrace to drive forward?
First of all, I think that we need to let people to be curious and encourage them to be curious, to be bold and brave. And as we discussed earlier, right now the world is changing so rapidly. And also, of course, we see these advanced technologies popping up almost on a weekly basis. So it also requires that we let people to take risks. We need to empower people to take risks. Sometimes fail fast, and then once again, continue their journey, and also make sure that we keep on actually being forgiving to make mistakes, as mentioned. You don't need to build perfect world.
Right. And what's one thing future leaders need to unlearn?
It's a very, very good question. I think that to be obsessed with the processes, practices that were established 10 years ago, we need to let them go. And also, one of the hardest things as a leader is also to make decisions on the things that we need to stop doing. So that is something you need to be better at deciding on things that we stop doing.
You also spoke today about mentorship. What's a piece of advice you find yourself given often?
By other people?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I get so many advices all the time, and I'm so grateful for all these advices. When I was younger, I already discussed about this younger Marika, and I was very impatient. And sometimes I was not present. And I had a meeting with a person. I was multitasking. Maybe I was reading emails or my phone at the same time when we had a discussion. I actually got a lot of feedback at that time that be less impatient and really focus on listening.
Do you think great leadership can be taught, or is it shaped by experience?
Both. So a lot of things I valued a lot these leadership trainings that I was able to participate as a younger manager. I learned so much about the different personality types. I actually learned about this situational leadership. But then finally, as a leader, you need to be also very interested in people, because finally people are making the difference.
Yeah, that's a good point. Any rituals or routines that help you stay sharp and grounded?
No, not really. But I know that I need to do my daily workout, because this is like, sport. If you don't keep on practicing and also taking care of yourself, how on earth you can keep the energy level?
And Marika, as we almost wrap it up, what gives you hope for the future of business?
You, Christian, and all of our people. To be honest, I have been so happy and pleased to see and meet so many great people in Vodafone. And every single time when we have a meeting with a partner or with a customer, it's an opportunity to learn something. It's an opportunity to create something for our customers or for our partners and for Vodafone.
Also for young or future leaders, do you got further recommendations for people?
I suppose we have been actually discussing already, about many things. As mentioned, stay curious, keep on developing yourself. For me, continuous learning is key. You need to be obsessed with the continuous learning. And so this is one. And then finally, as mentioned, also learn on identifying your priorities.
Marika, thank you so much. It's already the end. You've given us wisdom and a serious leadership masterclass today. To everyone listening, if you like this episode, share it, subscribe, and tag us on your thoughts. We're here to build the future together. From the OMR in Hamburg, this is Christian signing off from Connecting for Future. See you next time and take care. Thank you so much.
Thanks.